AJ DeMarzo and John Kea have made their name so far this season, both with multiple wins. Can somebody knock these guys off the top? Welcome in, sim racing fans. Evolution Racing Network coverage of 3-wide eSports League alongside Michael Sheffield. I'm Steve Kerpel, and Mike, I want to jump right into things here. We're at Rockingham Speedway, 1 mile track. What are we in for tonight?
One of my favorite tracks on the server. It's going to be a very technical track. It's going to be 100 laps here tonight, but the drivers got their work cut out for them. You might see somebody with the tire strategy tonight. Save them a little early and have that speed later in the run. Just make the time up when they can. Let them go in the beginning. So it's going to be interesting, as all their races have been with this huge, exciting schedule that they got.
Yeah, absolutely. These tires are huge, just like pretty much every track we talk about. Let's dive on in and see what these guys are up against tonight. 76 degrees is your air temp, which is going to give us about 111 on the track. A little warm out there. Grip is going to be a little bit of a factor as far as what these tires are going to be like, especially starting off. These tires are going to get heat in them quick. But also, Mike, that means that they're going to wear down quicker. So, I mean, this is a track where you gotta really take care of that right front as well, that right rear.
Yeah, you've got to take care of both, especially on the right side. The drive off, you can burn the back tires up. But, 3 extra sets here tonight, 100 laps, 70 lap fuel run here. Pit strategy may become a huge factor here tonight as things play out later on. I'm interested to see how the pit strategies work here tonight.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, pit strategies, especially if we see, an early caution, in maybe the first quarter of the race, where guys might come down pit road, and then, if we go green the rest of the race, I mean, that would be something exciting. But welcome on in, everybody. We're live here on YouTube tonight, so if you're watching us, hit us up in the chat. You got a question, got a comment, you got a favorite driver out there. We're monitoring the chat all night long as these guys are going to get ready to go qualifying. I want to let everybody know out there watching tonight that we do have a giveaway coming up here in about a week or two. We're going to give away a Butt Kicker Gamer 2 unit, and to be entered, head on over to YouTube and Facebook, like and follow, subscribe, hit the bell, and share tonight's stream out, and just throw a comment in the comment box. That automatically gets you entered in to our Butt Kicker Gamer 2 giveaway, which I said will be about a week or two. So stay tuned to our Facebook page for all the updates on that. And Mike, we're going to head on over to qualifying. We got one driver out on the track already. Is the 82 of Mike Everidge, trying to getting his up to speed lap right now. And we'll see what he could do. Also, we've got Andrew Hefner out on the track.
Yeah, Andrew Hefner, 2 trucks out right now. It looked like we had a field of 12 when we first came into the session, so I'm interested to see how this is going to play out here.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a track, Mike. I mean, I think you want to start up front and kind of stay up there, try to stay out of the trouble.
Yeah, you want to start up front, you want to stay out of trouble, but also you want to be able to save your tires. That's going to be the huge factor, and the guy who can get to the bottom, the yellow line in both corners tonight and hold it there, the easiest is probably going to walk away in victory lane here.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say so. As we're taking a look at William George running his lap right now in that number 9. We'll flip through a couple of these guys, and once we get some times in, we'll throw up your timing tower, see where your favorite driver is tonight. We'll flip on over the number 2 Pop-Tarts machine, Matthew Jagger. But I'll tell you what, Mike, I like that paint. It's got Pop-Tarts on the back bumper, CarQuest Auto, kind of that old school Kyle Busch scheme out there tonight.
Yeah, Pop-Tart scheme's kind of making me hungry. I'm looking around right now at the board, though, and Andrew Hefner's, at the top of the board right now with a 23.554. So as more and more drivers come around, I'm wondering if anybody's going to be able to knock him off. That's a good time.
Yeah, that sure is. A 23.55 is a really, really good time, especially here. And, we take a look here at points leader AJ DeMarzo in that number 5 Chevy Silverado. As he crosses the line, he can't even get up there at the top of the board. So Andrew Hefner kind of early on setting the pace, and he'll be the guy to beat right now, as we've got 11 out of, I believe, 13 have put times in.
Yeah, and one of the most difficult things about this track is so bumpy, especially in coming on the backstretch. You've got that wall coming out of 1 and 2 that you've got to watch out for, along with the bumps, and then 3 and 4. Once you get in the corner, you start sliding up a little bit, and you start getting to a really, really bumpy section, and that's where it's really taxing on the driver. Over 100 laps, just trying to maintain that wheel as those bumps are trying to fight the truck around.
Absolutely. As we take a look here at the 88 of Nick Rader, and he was able to knock Hefner from the pole position with a 23.51. So the 88 Nick Rader, we've been talking about him all year, still searching for a win, and he'll be in good spot to try to do that, Mike. As we're gonna go ahead, take a quick pause, we're gonna get our national anthem in on our nation, and when we come back, your starting lineup. Stay with us.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back in, Sim Racing fans. Michael Sheffield, Steve Kerpel, ready to give you all the action here tonight from Rockingham Speedway for 100 laps tonight. 3 wide Racing eSports League. Your starting lineup for tonight's race. On the pole with a 23.51, the 88 Nick Rader. On his outside will be the 46 Andrew Hefner. Row number 2, Matthew Jaggard in the 2. And your points leader, AJ DeMarzo in the 5. Row number 3 will have George Rincon in the 28 and William George on his outside in the 9. Starting 7th tonight will be the 66 of Caleb Ellswick. Michael, take us the rest of the way.
Starting 8th will be the number 75 of Jonathan Davis. Starting 9th will be the number 8 of Robert McMillan. Sorry for the delay there. Starting 9th is Ernest King. Starting 10th will be number 8 of Robert McMillan. Starting 11th will be the 21 of Carlos Ramos. Starting 12th will be Mike Everidge.
And 13th we'll have Doug Argabright rolling off, as these guys are ready to get things cranking up and rolling. iRacing.com pace cars on pit road. Here we go. 88 Nick Rader. Green flag is out, and he is off and away, and we are underway here from Rockingham.
Yeah, we're underway, and he's going to lead us into turn 1. It looks like he's got the 46 on the outside of Andrew Hefner. Matthew Jagger is going to squeeze in the third. Is they're all going to get in the single file here coming down the backstretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Rader with a good launch right off that green flag. Andrew Hefner caught up there on the high line. And this is a track, Mike, where you kind of want to be on that low line, is it not?
Yeah, you're going to want to get on that low line as you see the 28 washed up there, just carrying a little bit of speed, too much speed. The corner's going to get tight here, but they're able to maintain there with that wall coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, absolutely. 28 George Rincon in that 3 wide racing Dale senior inspired Chevy Silverado, always a nice looking paint. He's going to tuck back in line as we take a look at our leader here, Nick Rader. I don't want to say pulling away, but he's got himself a nice little gap right here on the 46 of Andrew Hefner, who does have a win on the year. So he's definitely hunting for more, but there is no driver hungrier right now, Mike, than the 88 Nick Rader.
Yeah, Nick Rader, probably thinking, let me go out here, get a big jump here and just try to maintain. Curious to see, as we mentioned earlier, if anybody's going to try to save a little tire earlier and make a later run, as I'm seeing some trucks kind of struggle trying to maintain that. Looks like that bottom line. A couple of them are sliding up there, and that's something that as the tires wear in and they get more acclimated here, as we got our first caution, looks like.
Yes, we are, and I do believe it's going to be the 28 George Rincon. We're going to have to see if we can't get that replay, Mike. I'm going to pull it up here right now. Well, let's see what happened there. You see the 28 of Rincon going down. He's got the 82 of Mike Everidge on his inside there, and the 82 kind of just washes up the track, and just a very small clip of that left rear corner panel sends that 28 spinning around, and a little bit of front end damage as he was spinning. I think he's able to lock the brakes down hard and avoid hitting that inside wall. And but I'll tell you what, that's not too bad. It could have been a lot worse. But it's important to note that these guys do get a fast repair in this league, but they only get one. And I'll tell you what, it's really early in the race to have to use that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's evaluating the damage now, and he's going to be watching the temps over the next couple laps if he stays out here and doesn't use it. And this is a track you're probably going to be able to take a little bit of damage and keep going. But that incident is an example of how hard it is to maintain that bottom line through 1 and 2. Just a little too much speed, and that truck just starts sliding up, and there's those bumps there. It makes it very difficult to get it back down.
Yeah, it sure is. We want to take this moment to let everybody know that Evolution Racing Network's coverage of 3 Wide Racing Esports League is brought to you by Butt Kicker, and our brand new sponsor we just brought on board about a week or 2 ago here, Michael, Folds of Honor. Proud to have them on board. They do a ton of great stuff for fallen soldiers and military families all across the world, so we're proud to bring them in as a sponsor here.
Yeah, I am especially proud. They're near and dear to my heart. I've worked with them for a couple years now, and the amount of scholarships they provide, to dependents, fallen soldiers' families, and veterans and disabled veterans is unremarkable.
As we are working our first caution here tonight, and I'll tell you what, I'm taking a look at the board. George Rincon did not make a trip down pit road, so he must be thinking that truck's doing okay, and we have no takers actually, Mike, for this first caution, which we're just a couple laps into this thing. I didn't really think we would, but these guys are going to stack them and rack them. Lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car, and we're going to be going green next time by.
Yeah, I'm glad to see he was able to keep it out there. So more than likely he doesn't have a lot of damage. It's early enough in the run, early enough in the race that he can evaluate and determine, if he's going to use it and when he's going to use it. Because the worst case scenario is I've been in a situation I've used it early, and then unfortunately get tied up in something else and didn't have it to rely on. So it's always a gamble with those. It's always great to have them, but use them at the wrong time and it could be detrimental for your night. So
absolutely, Mike. Why don't you go ahead and take us to green on this one?
as we're coming to green right now, Nick Rader is going to get the jump here. and he's got a good jump. Easy follow there for Andrew Hefner on the outside, who got a good restart there, considering the leader's got the advantage. It's like the two Matthew Jagger will be in third, and it looks like they're starting a single file here.
Yeah, single file, which is kind of what you're going to want to do if your plan is to save some of these tires. As we see the 75 there, Jonathan Davis, real close to our points leader there, AJ DeMarzo, as they go down in the corner there, but they're able to keep everybody's able to keep it straight. And single file is where you're going to want to be. But I'll tell you what, we seen under that last caution, we seen the 82 sort of wash up the track. I think, for caution-wise, Mike, I think that's what we're going to probably see. A majority of them is a cause of that, because, if you're on that high line, you got to run pretty tight to the guy inside, or else you lose all your corner exit speed.
Yeah, you've got to run pretty tight there. You can probably give up a little bit on entry there, and just to get that run through the center of the corner. Is we see a pass now for third, and that is AJ DiMarzio taking the third spot away from Matthew Jagger there. But I noticed Andrew Hefner is sticking up front with Rader. Didn't let him get quite the jump, even though it looks like Rader's pulling away a little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Rader starting to pull that truck away. And I'll tell you what, there's so many races this year, Mike, we could go back and say, boy, that 88 was quick. He qualified good. He started pulling away, and then tragedy strikes, or, the pit strategies don't line up. And I'll tell you what, we're only 13 laps into this thing, but that 88's looking like a fast truck out there tonight.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx him. We've talked about him a couple races, with the speed and all, and it's gonna happen. I can say that probably with 100% certainty that, he's had the speed every week. That's been one. AJ DiMarzio has always been up front. Andrew Hefner's been running really good. So it's anybody's race.
Yeah, absolutely, and we definitely cannot count out the 5 AJ DiMarzo, as we've got a battle here brewing up for the 5th spot. William George in the 9 and Jonathan Davis there in the 75, as they're side by side going down in the turn.
Yeah, William George is going to have the advantage here on the inside.
Look,
75
small contact, 75 into the wall there, and boy, that's
like green flag's going to stay out.
Yeah, we're going to stay green here, and that's what we were just talking about. You got to run close, and if you're the bottom guy, you got to do your best to obviously hold that bottom line. And if you're the guy on the outside, you got to kind of use that guy on the inside as a bottom line, and just try to stay packed as tight as you possibly can. And, right there we see a little contact, pushes the 75 up into the wall, and he's down on pit road. He's going to get that truck fixed.
Yeah, and that's the difficult thing on a lot of these tracks, is the inside does have the advantage going into the corner. But on the exit, if there's a truck on the outside, it kind of limits the drift up the track for the inside truck, which limits the run there. So it's always a tight squeeze there, especially on exit of a corner.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're going to take the quick moment here and just kind of go back to that and take a look. As the 75, I think this is actually after it had already happened. He just gets pushed up into the wall. He's going to have some right side damage on that truck, and it's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on him. And now it's he's showing 3 laps down, but it's still very early in the race. You could definitely come back from 3 laps down. This early, we're only working on lap 19 of 100 right now, so definitely not out of it. But I think we're going to see a lot of that. That's not the last of contact going through the corner. I think we're going to see tonight here.
Yeah, and looking back up front right now, Nick Rader is consistently clicking off the fastest lap times, lap after lap. So he's maintaining good pace, but as we mentioned, Andrew Hefner's not letting him get away. But we were just talking about William George in number 9. He's up to 3rd now. Yeah,
William George up 3 spots from the start of this thing, and we want to spotlight our biggest mover of the race right now is going to be the 24 of Ernest King right now. He's up 4 spots. He's got himself into the top 5, currently running in 5th, and that 24 DiMarzo Gears truck right now looking pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm just going back now and looking at George Rincon after that damage earlier to see how it's affecting him, and looks like his lap times have fallen off a little bit. So he may have a little bit more damage there uh, than we saw earlier. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. He uses that fast repair. I'm sure he's going to probably try to pit before he gets the lap down. I mean, we're 21 laps into this right now, so have to keep an eye on him throughout the race here.
Yeah, I think if you're at 28 right now, you're kind of hoping, maybe for a caution, because 22 laps into this thing, I would like to think if a caution flew now, you'd probably see just about everybody come down pit road for fresh tires, being they have, 3 extra sets in the pits. But as we continue to tick off green flag laps here, Mike, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's consistent lap times. I mean, he's running almost a second slower than our leader. And a caution will fly, and you know what? I believe it is going to be the 2 of Matt Jagger. As we caught the end of that. We're going to go back and grab that replay for you and see if we can see what happened there.
It looked like Matt Jagger and William George got together there, coming through 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks like coming out of turn 2 there, the 2 just slides up, and basically, I don't want to say cleared himself across the 9's nose, but he slid up, caught his right rear corner panel, and actually gets a little bit of airtime on that thing as he hits the wall really hard. So the 2 of Matthew Jagger definitely going to have to be going down pit road to use that fast repair, I would say.
Yeah, as we go back to what I mentioned earlier, once again, it's just being able to maintain that on turn, especially 1 and 2, with that tight. It almost seems like it narrows coming off the 2, because you've got that wall on your outside just comes up so fast, and it just squeezes both trucks together there.
Yeah, absolutely. As it looks like the only truck to stay out is going to be the 14 of Doug Argabright. As we're working our second caution here tonight, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the 3 Wide Racing eSports League live right here on Evolution Racing Network.
I started Folds of Honor above my garage 13 years ago because 90% of spouses and children of killed or disabled U.S. service members receive no federal education assistance. Our mission has never wavered. We honor their sacrifices by educating their legacy.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Fold of Honor.
Thanks to you, I will be a construction engineer.
An elementary school teacher.
Thank you for helping me fulfill my dream of going to med school.
We're able to award these scholarships because patriots like you refuse to turn your back on the cost of freedom. Join the Folds of Honor Squadron today. Your $13 a month will help ensure we never turn military families away. This is your call to duty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thanks to people like you, I know my dad is not forgotten.
Welcome back in, Sim Racing fans. We are under our second caution here tonight. The number 2, Matthew Jagger, pushes up the track, kind of spins himself out, hard contact into the wall. But very important here, Mike, as we're getting ready to go green here. The 14 in that Nesquik Chevrolet, Doug Argabright, did not pit, and he's going to be on old tires, so we're definitely going to have to watch out for some of that wheel spin.
Yeah, it might have a little bit of wheel spin here, and on the green tires might be not too huge of a difference, but once those new tires get warmed up, it's going to make a huge difference. I wasn't really surprised to see him pit, a quarter way in with 3 extra sets as we're coming to green.
And it looks like a fairly clean restart. That truck did wiggle a little bit, though, but that 88, he timed it pretty good, and I think he definitely had to use a little bit of discipline on that restart as he's on the good tires, and here they all come. I'll tell you what, that 14 is about to be swallowed up by these leaders here.
Yeah, it's going to be a train basically opening on the inside as you see the 88 orator get by, and Andrew Hefner following him through. So it's going to be quick here. Here's going to be the tight spot coming into turn 1 as you got 2 wide behind him right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the 24 is going to zip on by, and this is where it's going to get dicey, folks. as it looks like so far so good. Everybody just trying to get around that 14, the 5 AJ DeMarzo I see right now, and the 9 of William George. Yeah, unfortunately, you want to play the track position game, but when you have basically the whole field come down and get those fresh tires on, especially after we were at 24 laps on that set, it's just something that has to happen.
Yeah, it looks like the 14 just barely almost scrapes the wall there coming through that time by, but it was a good example, a little bit of give and take there that everybody was able to squeeze through and shift lines the way they needed to.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was some good racing by just about everybody in that field, Mike, where they knew that that they had to get around the 14, that they were going to be able to do so, and everybody kind of just took their turn, got around them, and no big incident. But I'll tell you what, that 14, unless we get another quick caution here, he's going to be hurting for some tires here real soon.
Yeah, and up front, Nick Ritter is doing the same thing, and he's setting out, trying to get a good jump here. Hefner sticking on him, and sitting in third is Caleb Ellswick now. So a little change there for third, but you got Ernest King closing in there in the fourth position. So this might change hands here in a few minutes. It's going to be a good battle for, second on back with the pace Raider sitting right now and the pace that Hefner's setting. Looks like they might be able to pull away though.
Yeah, these I want to say your top 5 are running very, very close lap times, within a tenth of a second of each other. So that's probably going to be your lead pack right now. As the 21 Carlos Ramos up 6 spots from the start, so he's on the move. Mike, our biggest mover of the race so far.
Yeah, that's a good run for him so far tonight. Like I said, everybody pitted in there on that last caution. And up to 6 positions, he might be capitalized on that tire that I was talking about earlier, to see how this being able to maintain the bottoms. I see a lot of the guys right now are kind of running a little bit of a low to middle groove there in 1 and 2, and the same thing in 3 and 4. So I'm wondering how much speed fall off these guys are going to get, and especially with tire wear.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're looking right now, the 66 of Caleb Ellswick made his debut last week, and not the race he wanted. Was banged up a little bit as we got trouble on the backstretch. The 5 of AJ DeMarzo makes contact, slides back up on the track, and we are still green right now. Boy, I'll tell you what, for our points leader, that's not what you want to see right there.
Yeah, the best thing to do is try to get it gathered up, get the quick fix fast repair done, and try to get, back out on track as fast as you can, and try to lose as little bit as, time as possible. But, sometimes it's easier said than done.
Yeah, it sure is. As AJ DeMarzo on pit road right now. He's going to try to get that truck repaired and get back out there. And, for a majority of these guys, especially the guys running up front, haven't really been dealing with a lot of passing. They're starting to spread out a little bit. But you go mid-pack, 6th on back is where the tight racing is right now. And, that's just another unfortunate event right there.
Yeah, we just had a battle for third there, and Ernest King was able to get by Caleb Ellswick for the third place position. So move Ernest King up to third now.
Yeah, Ernest King looking pretty good in that 24 Chevrolet right now. And, I'll tell you what, these, some of the guys that we don't really get to call their number very often, the 21 Carlos Ramos, we've got the 82 Mike Everidge on the move. He's up to 7th, up 5 spots from the start. And, some of these guys really making some headway coming up through the field.
Yeah, your top 2 last time by were 1,000th of a second apart. So that's how close the times are on the top 2 right now. And then it's not much fall off, more than a 10th from 3rd and 4th, even all the way back to 6th.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are running very, very, very tight times. Fall off, we haven't noticed a lot, honestly. I mean, your leaders are running 24 ones, and their best time is like a 23.7, 23.6. So fall off, not really a big factor right now. So these guys are really are. I don't want to even say they're pushing the truck. I think they're running how they want to run right now. I think they're doing a really good job saving tire. And Andrew Hefner, I'll tell you what, he's doing a really good job of staying with the 88 Nick Rader.
Yeah, I'm looking at the gaps here, and in 1 and 2, Nick is able to pull away a little bit, and then 3 and 4, Andrew's able to close it in a little bit. So the gap has just gone from a half second down to about quarter of a second, maybe a little less, almost 2/10 right now. So he's gaining big time right now.
Yeah, absolutely. As we'll pull up our battle box, you get a live look at the scoring, and you could see kind of where Nick's a little better, where Andrew's a little better, and these guys are really doing a good job. Kind of hanging with them. As the 46 right there of Andrew Hefner, he is sucking right up to the back of that 88. And I think Andrew might be driving that truck a little bit harder as last lap. Before they crossed the line, Andrew was almost 0.3 of a second faster than that 88.
Yeah, and that's when you're trying to chase down a guy in front of you and you're in second place, you see that leader in front of you and he's getting closer. You start, unconsciously pushing that truck a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. It's one of the hardest things to do, to sit back there and watch a guy, slowly pull away from you or run the same times, because, you want to get there, you want to get up front, and, unfortunately sometimes you push it a little too hard. So, but it looks like he's able to maintain here. He's able to close the gap a little bit more. He's just now over 1/10 of a second behind him.
Yeah. I mean, he's knocking on the door right now, as we've got 46 laps down of 100 scheduled. And as we see coming into frame right here, that 5 of AJ DiMarzo is able to get that truck fixed and only lose 2 laps. So that's really not a bad job. And he's going to try to get a lap back here the old-fashioned way. And if for some reason he gets that lap back and then boom, you hit a quick caution, you're in that lucky dog position and you're back right there on the lead lap.
Yeah, and he's going to be significantly faster right now than the top 2, but he's showing a lot of content here, just waiting for the prime opportunity to make his move here and get by these 2, as he's going to go to the high side here on 3 and 4 and get a huge run to get to the outside of the 46 right here. So he's going to clear the 46 here. It's going to get kind of tight here in 1 and 2, but they're going to give him room and let him try to squeeze on by. They know he's faster on 4 fresher tires.
Yeah, with the 5, as we see, the 46 wants to try that high line out a little bit. For the 5 to run that high line, I think it is the respectable move to do, as, these guys are kind of trying to battle for the lead, and, you got the tires. You could use that high line to get a lap back, and I do like that move by the 5 of AJ DiMarzo there.
Yeah, and looked like maybe Radar lifted just a little bit there, and the 46, didn't want to lose that momentum, so he went to the high side. It was a good move on the 46 part, because you didn't want to lose that momentum when you've caught that much time up to the leader here. It looks like the gap there is gotten pretty big there. Couldn't tell that the 46 maybe got a little loose off 3 and 4 last time by.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are working lap 50, as we come to the line this time by, we'll be halfway over with this race here tonight, Mike. And so far, so good. 2 cautions. This is a track where you're going to see a couple of cautions. You guys are going to bang doors a little bit, and that's kind of what we saw. But overall, some really good racing, especially up towards the front.
Yeah, it's been some really good racing throughout the pack here. I mean, there for a while, you had cars single file, then next thing we got a group of 4, battling for a position. And right now I'm looking at third with Ernest King, and William George is coming back into the picture here. Wants to battle back for that 3rd position here. So gonna keep an eye over this battle over the next couple laps as well.
Yeah, another good battle, working for 3rd. The 9 of William George working on the 24 of Ernest King, and that'll be for 3rd. And these guys, it's hard to just run behind a guy for a race, especially as the 9 just swoops right on by the 24. You know, even though you want to save tires, it's difficult to just ride behind a guy here for a bunch of laps.
Yeah, and Ernest might be just let him go right now. Is thinking of, okay, I'll catch him again in a little while. If you think the guy behind you is pushing the truck a little harder than you want to, just let him go now and try to fight him again later. So it might be a strategy call from Ernest there to just let him go by.
Absolutely. As we'll take this opportunity and kind of go down through the field, give everybody a chance to look at your favorite driver up front of the field right now. The 88 Nick Rader has been fairly dominant in the first half of this race, and we'll see if he could hold on in that 88 DeMarzo Gear Chevy Silverado. And right behind him, though, the 46 Jegs machine of Andrew Hefner out of Hickory, North Carolina. He's working them hard, Mike. He's keeping that truck in the rear view.
Yeah, he's keeping that truck in the rear view. He's worked his way, up to second. He's caught the leader. It's been kind of back and forth between those two. You see one faster for a couple laps. You see the other one faster for a couple laps. Then back in third, we've got William George, who we just talked about a minute ago. We just got by Ernest King, who's sitting in fourth place right now. So it's going to be interesting in these top four. The top two split, they've got quite a separation on the third and fourth, but, don't count anybody out yet.
No, it's pretty early to start, eliminating guys from this race as we look at the 24. And we go back to the 82, Mike Everidge, having himself a nice little run right here. Running in fifth right now, up 7 spots. So your biggest mover. And, right behind him, the 21, Carlos Ramos, looking pretty good right now. In the 21 Chevy Silverado, looks like he's got... I'll tell you what, it's a nice paint. I can't really tell what's on it. I could see the 3 wide on the bumper, but that's a sharp looking paint.
That's a nice looking paint. Yeah, I can see the 3 wide there on the bumper. A lot of these, like who we talked about it, first race. I love a lot of these paint jobs. Some of them are old school. Some of them are, a little more elaborate. And some of them the old, clean, what I call the old school NASCAR look to them.
Yeah, absolutely. As we take a look back at the 66 Food City Chevrolet, Caleb Ellswick out of Harmon, Virginia, and he's looking pretty good back in 7th, where he started. But he's been, moving up through the field, in and out of these runs, and, having himself a pretty good race so far. As we move on back to the 8, Robert McMillan Jr. out of Martinsville, Virginia. A lot of Virginia boys in the field tonight, Michael, as you're a Virginia native yourself, and these guys are looking pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Got to root for my fellow Virginia drivers here, as I noticed that Food City Chevrolet of the 66 Caleb Ellsworth. Every time I see that, I think about Bristol. So, is looking right now. I'm looking at George Rincon here. Had a little moment there, got into the wall a little bit. He's sticking things out here. See what he can do here tonight. Just keep battling, and you never know how things are going to turn out for you.
Yeah.
He looks like we got people coming down pit road.
Yes, we sure do. We've got our leader just coming off pit road right now. You see the 88, Nick Rader. He came down for a scheduled green flag stop, and I think we're going to start seeing him come down here, Mike, where it's about that time for not only tires, but this, if this thing stays green, these guys can make it on fuel, as the 88 will go ahead and get on by the 5 of AJ DeMarzo there and start working on getting that 88 truck back up through the field.
Yeah, and I see the 46 Andrew Hefner now coming down pit road. I was doing my calculations, and from the last caution, they possibly could make it on fuel, but tires is going to be another situation. It looks like just saw a truck coming through the grass there. I couldn't tell if that was a 66 or not of Caleb Ellswick.
Yeah, I do believe it was, as he's able to regain control of that truck right there. And these guys, pretty much everybody's, going to be on pit road. The only guys that haven't pit right now, your current race leader, Robert McMillan in the 8, the 28 George Rincon, and I believe that's it. Though those two guys right there are the only guys that haven't pit. As you know, everybody else has come down, made a stop here, and like I said, Mike, I think if this thing stays green, this is going to be our final pit stop.
Yeah, barring no cautions, this will be probably our final pit stop here. As I'm looking at the two of Matthew Jaggers now on pit road as well. So it looks like it's going to cycle out, and right now it should cycle back around to Nick Radar once everybody hits pit road.
Yeah, which is important to note right now, that as these two guys stay out, when they cycle back through, Mike, it is going to go back to Raider, and he's going to have about a 4-second advantage on the 46 of Andrew Hefner, who granted pitted 3 laps later, so he's going to have 3 laps better tires than Nick. But with a 4-second gap, and to see how strong Nick's been this race, I'll tell you what, I like that 88 so far.
Yeah, it's if you undercut them, you can get a little bit more of an advantage there. It never seems to work out unless it's a long run with 3 lap. That small of a gap, 3 lap fresher tires isn't going to make a huge. If it was a 10 lap difference, maybe, but the undercut is so strong, especially here at short tracks. And like right now, the 88, who's now going to be in second. You got Robert McMillan that stayed out. Last time by he had around a 27.74. Nick Ritter ran a 24 flat. So that's the 3.7 second difference there on 1 lap. So that's the difference between old tires and new tires.
Yeah, it's huge. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if you're the 8 of McMillan and even the 28 of Rincon, I mean, you're already getting passed by the guys who made their pit stops. I mean, you really got to consider coming down and at least trying to stay in the hunt, because now, I mean, Radar is closing at an incredible speed. As we finally see the 8, he's going to hit pit road for his stop.
Yeah, you want to minimize the bleeding now if you can. Go ahead and go down pit road, get your 4 tires, get what you can out of the run. You've still got 32 laps coming to 31 this time by. Regain yourself and recapitalize and try to get every position you can. As points, 1 point here or there may not seem like a lot now, but it comes to the end of the season, we've seen 1 point difference would make championships before, so you never know.
Yeah, I mean, every spot gained is huge, especially when these guys use pretty much the standard iRacing scoring, where every position is huge. Race wins, yeah, they're going to be huge, of course. Being consistent is going to be a huge factor. But I mean, if your guys running mid pack right now, 7th, 8th, if you could get that truck up to a 5th or 6th place finish, I mean that is the difference right now. When it comes down to racing for a championship, and if you could be consistent with top 5 finishes, like we've seen AJ DeMarzo, the John Kay, who's not in the field tonight, these guys have been consistent all year, and that's why they find themselves on top of that leaderboard.
Yeah, and you talk about consistency, and I'm looking at the points right now for the league, and the thing that caught my eye was the average finish from 1st to 4th or 5th. I would say 1st is the average finish of 4th, and it goes to 5th, and it goes to 6th, and it goes to 7th, and the next one is 7th as well. So that just the consistency there, will show you by your average finish of the difference in points by the as the races accumulate.
Yeah, absolutely. As I'm keeping a close eye, Mike, on the scoring right now, as we're going to pull this battle box back up. The 46 Andrew Hefner is definitely gaining time. He's gaining I don't want to say a ton of time, but a good enough amount of time with still 26 laps to go in this thing, where he could definitely give that 88 a run for his money, as he's just down to a little bit over a 2-second gap right now, and it was almost a 5-second gap.
There's a couple things coming to play there. I'm watching that time too. He was almost a half second quicker that time by. I'm wondering if maybe Nick Rader's, maybe running a little less, saving his stuff, and maybe letting Hefner catch him, or if Hefner is maybe found something here, but got to maintain. And as we always say, it's one thing to catch him, it's another thing to pass him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, he can get there, and does he have enough left in the tires to get around him once it happens? We're going to find out as we are at 25 laps to go, Mike. You know what that means? It's time for the ERN pick of the race. I'll tell you what, I hope I'm not wrong because I'm going to go ahead and pick him. I'm picking the 88 of Nick Rader to win this race.
Well, he took the words right out of my mouth. I don't want to jinx him, but he's had that consistency all year long, and just right now I think he's probably just saving his stuff. So that would be my pick as well. He's been strong all year long. So
yeah, absolutely. And everybody out there watching on YouTube, go ahead, throw in the chat. Tell us who you like. Our picks are in. Me and Mike unanimously. We both picked the 88 of Nick Rader, even though we see the 46 Andrew Hefner coming. Go ahead, tell us who you like. Let's stir the pot a little bit. Let's throw out some wild picks. We've got some guys that are. This race ain't over. The 9 of William George, he's 9 seconds back, but you never know what could happen. We can get a late race caution. We could get a green-white checker finish. Boy, wouldn't that be exciting? And, this thing isn't over. So go on, throw in the chat who you like, and we got 22 laps to figure it out.
Well, I'm looking at scoring and timing right now. The fastest truck the last couple laps has been the 24 of Ernest King. So he's closing the gap a little bit there. And as you said, anything can still happen here with, 21 coming to 20 to go this time by. So 46 is definitely closed in. He's almost there now. So we'll have to see if Rader picks his times up or how this plays out.
Yeah, I think if I'm Nick Rader, ideally I'd like to keep that 46 behind me with until about 15 to go, and then turn on the jets. But I think he's gonna have to. If he was holding back, I think it's time to go, because what do you know? You look up in the mirror and boom, there's that 46 right on your back bumper.
Yeah, the 46 is closed and back in as we saw earlier tonight, but that was a huge gap the 46 just made up over the last 10 15 laps, and I'm curious as to how far he's going to be able to close this gap here. Is he still gaining right now?
Yeah, still gaining. I'm going to be curious because what their lap times are as they cross the line in comparison to each other, because I really do think the 88's got more in them than there's led on to be, as they were very close lap times right there, just a couple hundreds separated the two right there. I think if you're Nick right now, you got to go on the offensive and the defensive. Really, you got to start driving the wheels off of that thing to hold the lead, and you got to be playing a little defense. Keep that 46 behind you.
Yeah, if you pay attention to him this time coming by in 3 and 4, you'll notice the 88's driving a little bit deeper, as you'll see the 46 kind of back off before they get to the corner, like he's checking up a little bit, just trying to get that drive through the center to the exit of the corner. So two different styles here. We'll have to see which one works out in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. As we got a little bit we're 16 laps to go, and we got some picks in here, Mike. We got Alain's Design Shop, who has been rooting on a couple of different drivers here tonight. They're going with the 9 of William George and Ellswick Motorsports, as we got a battle for the lead right now. We'll get back to that. The 88 and the 46 side by side as they come out of turn number 4. Boy, is it a drag race down the start-finish line. These guys are going to run each other very tight.
This is going to make for an exciting end here. The 88 got a little high there. That's going to allow the 46 to get a little bit of a gap here, and we'll see what happens here the next couple laps. But that's been a heck of a run there that the 46 of Andrew Hefner's put on the last 15-20 laps.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was like that 46 was shot out of a cannon, and I just want to go back and note that Ellswick Motorsports chiming on YouTube here, rooting for the 66 of Caleb Ellswick, currently running in 6th spot. But right now, it's that 46 truck of Andrew Hefner leading the point with 14 laps to go.
Yeah, he's got the point here, and interval of about 1.2 seconds here with 14 to go. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, I would say, within the next 2 to 3 laps, to see if there's going to be that gap's going to keep getting bigger, which it looks like it is right now, almost a second and a half.
Yeah, the gap continues to grow as we're up to over a second and a half on the 88 of Nick Rader with just 12 laps to go. And I think if you're the 88 and you have any tire left, you got to start using them right now. But I think he's used up what he had, honestly. And I just think that 46 is on. He's got it set on cruise control right now.
Yeah, this 46 has found the line here since the last pit stop, and he, as you said, he has just set sail. He's just taken off. He's found a line that works. It's giving the best times on the track, and he's taking well advantage of it. So,
yeah, as we wind things down here tonight from Rockingham, and this time by the 46 Andrew Hefner, who has a win on the year. He's going to get 10 to go right now, and has a win on the year, hunting for a second one. And I'll tell you what, we'll add another name to, if he could hold on, we'll add another name to multi-race winners here this year. And I mean, that's what you got to do. If your goal is to win a championship, I mean, besides being consistent, you got to bring home a couple of race wins.
yeah, you've got to bring home a couple race wins. They always help the cause for sure in the long run. So, and still looking now, as I mentioned it earlier, Ernest King is still the fastest truck on the track with the 25.18 last time by. So he's closed the gap. Don't think he's going to have enough time to get up towards the front. I mean, interval of 7.5 seconds to second place, but he's put on a good run here tonight.
Yeah, great run from Ernest King, kind of building on some of the momentum he was able to get last week. And, this... It's huge, momentum is huge. Consistent top 3, top 5 finishes is huge. And I'll tell you what, for the 46 of Hefner, the 88 of Rader, has had a little bit of a bumpy season going forward. But the key note is the 5 of AJ DeMarzo, our points leader, scored 9th right now. So he's definitely going to lose some ground on these guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to probably lose a little bit of grind, but with his points position, I think he'll be okay. I don't think one race is going to hurt him in the grand picture. You're always going to have, even though you don't want it, you're always going to have that 1 or 2 race, in the year that you like to get rid of or wish never happened. So, it happens to everybody. You just got to kind of gather yourself back up and get ready again for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for the 46 Andrew Hefner, working on almost a 4-second gap between him and the 88 with 5 laps to go. This is the Andrew's race to lose right now, as he's going to come and probably just kind of hang behind that 5. He's got himself a nice big lead, 5 laps to go. There's no point of trying to get side by side with a lap truck, I wouldn't think, just because the chances of having an incident multiplies. But 4 laps to go. Andrew Hefner got that thing on cruise control.
Yeah, and AJ's gonna go up the track there and let Andrew get by, and Andrew's just right now is probably just sitting on cruise control, looking at the laps, counting them down as he comes by. He's got this one right now in the bag, and he's fingers crossed right now, and making sure he hits his mark every time by, and just letting the truck do the work. He's just riding.
Yeah, it's important to note that that's what you got to be doing right now. Hit your marks, just tick the laps off. You got a big lead. No point of doing anything crazy. And this is a race right now. If I'm the 46, I'm thrilled. Obviously, I'm set up to win this thing as popsicle sticks in the air for the 46. And next week, Mike, these guys head to Watkins Glen, so who knows what's going to happen there.
Yeah, another road course. I'm interested to see who can show their road course racing skills. In next week, and it's Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen is another tough track, especially in these trucks. Any road course in these trucks is always a challenge.
Absolutely. As white flag is in the air for the 46 Andrew Hefner one more time around this 1 mile Rockingham Speedway. And I'll tell you what, Mike, this has been an exciting race to watch. Tons of great race and great battles up front. We thought the 88 would be his day. He's going to come a little short as the 46 will come out of turn number 4. Andrew Hefner will grab his second win of the year right here, Rockingham.
I am very, very impressed by that run he just set up, coming from out of the pits there on that last run to make up the gap that he made, and then to put a gap in front of almost 5 seconds. He found something there. He had that truck dialed in the last 25, 30 laps.
Yeah, he sure did, as that 88 of Nick Rader is going to give a little bump to that 46 and say, you know what, man? Boy, I thought I had this one, but you had a good truck tonight. Gives him a congratulations bump right there. And a 46, Andrew Hefner, will bring it on down to the start-finish line, and he will burn this place to the ground. There's no need to save that motor for next week, because I'll tell you what, he earned this one, and this is a great win if you're Andrew Hefner.
Yeah, and also on that note, last week Ernest King was second. Tonight he's third, so it's a good string he's got going, and I'm hoping that's a good momentum swing for him for the rest of the season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As we watch Andrew Hefner right now with the old Polish victory lap right here, and going into Watkins Glen, I'll tell you what, if you're 46, you want to finish good there, but you get your win and you're looking pretty good, and you don't really have to stress too much about going into Watkins Glen and finding a win as you get one here tonight.
Yeah, I want to see how these guys feel about Watkins Glen coming up, and we'll get a chance to talk to the top 3 here momentarily.
Absolutely. As we're going to let Andrew Hefner finish on running around this track in reverse, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will have your top 3 from Rockingham. Stay with us.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Rockingham Speedway race fans, as we just saw Andrew Hefner pick up his second win of the year. And you know what? I want to dive right on into these guys, Mike, as we just had a great battle there. We thought Nick Rader had this kind of in hand, and let's jump right into it. Finishing third tonight, the 24, Ernest King. Hey, Ernest, this is Steve and Mike up in the year-end booth. You got a copy?
Hey, got you guys. What's up?
Well, I want to talk about what's up, actually. Last week, you come home in second. This week, you bring home a third. I mean, it looks like you're turning on the Mark Martin traits here and, you know, getting these consistent finishes in. But I want to talk about this race. I mean, you were running some really fast lap times out there, you know, for the portion of that race. You know, granted, you were, 10, 11 seconds back. You were really burning some lap times there. Tell us just how the truck felt that whole race.
It didn't feel too bad. Beginning of the race, we had that early caution that really didn't, play any key into what was going to happen the rest of the race. But once we got going, me and Will, battled around there for a little bit. Then we got in line and started running Nick and Andrew down a little bit. It was tighter than what it was in practice, that's for sure. But once we got going, you messed with your brake bias a little bit. It kind of loosened up a little bit for me, and I was able to, keep it going, get her going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the hotter track temps, definitely make the truck run a little tighter. And, I kind of want to switch gears here, Ernest. We go back to another road course next week, Watkins Glen. And, we've run, 2 road courses already. And, we've seen it kind of go a couple of different ways. How do you feel about the Glen next week?
Well, I wish we had a little bit more of these, these ovals to go to. That's, I think that's my style, the thing that I like to do. But, we'll put in plenty of practice and hopefully at least get another top 5 or somewhere up there to keep the points going. And we'll see where it ends up after another right and left session.
Yeah, absolutely, Ernest. Well, before we let you go, enjoy another podium finish here tonight, finishing third. Any shout-outs you want to give?
Sure, you guys for putting on a great show. DeMarzo Gears, he did a lot for us this season and get everything rolling. RKR, Nick, we had a couple guys in top 2 tonight. Proud of that. And the rest of the guys that, had a little bit of problems. And, my girlfriend Stephanie for letting me hang out and do this with you guys.
Absolutely. Got to thank the girlfriend for sure, Ernest. Well, we're going to let you go. Enjoy this one. And, we'll see. We'll see. Get some practice, and maybe we'll talk to you next week at the Glen.
Right on, guys. Have a good evening.
All right, your third place finisher, Ernest King, consistent, Mike. I mean, second last week, comes down to Rockingham, able to get another podium finish, and I mean, wheels are turning for that 24 team.
Yeah, he got some momentum going right now. I'm curious, like you said, to see how things turn out next week, and he was clicking off some great lap times tonight. So I'm interested to see how the rest of the season plays out for him.
Yeah, he sure was. And let's get this rolling here. I'll tell you what, Mike, I know this time is coming. We thought it was tonight. We both picked him to win the race. Let's see what he has to say. I believe you're down with the 88 of Nick Rader.
Hey, Nick, this is Michael and Steve up in the booth. You got a copy?
Got you guys.
Well, Nick, I know it's not quite the finish you wanted tonight. You had a great RKR Motorsports number 88 truck tonight. Can you you had a good jump there early in the run? You early in the race, you had a good gap going there. Just tell me how the truck felt tonight.
Felt pretty great. Early on, it was real good. through the first pit stop. For the last couple of weeks have been rough with that, getting caught a lap down and caution comes out. So just trying to hold out as long as I could, and got through the first pit stop. The first half of the race, it was real good. And then it just started to go away. I think that last pit stop, I didn't take fuel, and I think it threw off the balance, and it just didn't handle like it did the first 2 runs.
Yeah, watching that last run there, we were talking about it, and we were watching Andrew close on you, and I was wondering, were you maybe, saving something there in the tank, or maybe something wasn't feeling right there? But you've had short of, a couple of wrong place, wrong time, you've been a front runner every week. And I told Steve tonight, you were both our picks there, that, I don't want to jinx you. So I don't want to say anything next week in the broadcast, but, we're rooting for you. It's coming. I can tell you that. But, shifting gears to next week, we got Watkins Glen coming up. How do you feel about that?
That one real good. Me and Matt, we run that a lot. We did that on Xbox and just practice a lot. So I really like that track. I really got it down, and I've run a ton of laps there. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm feeling really confident to going into there.
That's great. I'm glad, that's one of those tracks I kind of either it's good or it's bad. And there's a lot of drivers like that. And then you got some people who are really good at road courses. But we're going to give you the microphone here. Let you give you a shout out, thank yous to whoever you like. The mic is all yours.
Yeah, I want to thank all my teammates with RKR and AJ now coming on board with the Marzos. And we have a good team going, and we'll see if we can keep it running. And me, AJ, Pup, or Ernie will keep battling it out the rest of the season.
Well, great run for you tonight. Also, great run for Ernest, your teammate there. We just talked to him a minute ago. And look forward to talking to you hopefully next week and see how things playing out for you there.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right. That was your second place finisher, Nick Rader. And I just want to go ahead and let everybody know that Nick Rader said he's good at the Glen, so watch out. I mean, it could be his week next week. We thought it was tonight, Mike, but coming up a little short. But I'll tell you what, his day's coming for sure.
His day is coming, and I'm gonna try to refrain from using his name next week. I don't want to be. I feel like it's become almost a jinx now. So Nick, next week I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna not try to mention your name.
Yeah. Even if you got the whole field lap by 2 laps, we're gonna pick somebody else, and hopefully the reverse psychology works. As the 88 Nick Rader, good run tonight, coming home in second, and let's bring him on down in. Your winner tonight, the number 46 of Andrew Hefner. Hey Andrew, this is Stephen Michael up in the year-end booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys. Can you hear me?
We sure can, man. I'll tell you what, that last run, you come out of those pit stops about 5 seconds behind Nick in that 88, who was very, very dominant, pretty much the whole race and up until that point. And it just seemed like you found another gear in that truck, and you caught him within what felt like 10 laps. Were able to get around him, and you just sailed. I mean, how did that truck feel on that last run?
Yeah, man, it was a rocket all night, really, to be honest with you. Once I kind of figured that it wasn't going to be a caution fest, I kind of figured that pit stops and pit strategy would really come into play. So I banked on saving, especially coming out of that last pit stop, for at least the first 5 or 6 laps, I know, just because I knew that he had pitted about 3 laps before I did. So in all reality, that would give me, a good 5-lap pressure tires whenever I decided to actually take off.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that really, really played out key. The fresher tires, especially at a 1 mile track like this, where the track temps were hot all night. Guys are tightening up towards the end of the race, and those newer tires is what you want. But you now find yourself, second win on the year. You join a small list of multi-race winners. What does this do confidence-wise, besides soar you through as you try to chase down a championship?
Well, to be honest with you, Steve, I'm not gonna be here this week. So it's a good thing I won tonight because I'm gonna take a major hit next week at the Glen, and I know I've told y'all before I'm not much of a road course guy, but I told several others tonight I was actually looking forward to the Glen. It's actually one of my favorite road courses. But it just I'm not, with this being the first season, I'm not necessarily trying to go out and win the championship as much as trying to get familiar with how and who we're running with, because the league continues to grow just about every week. But it is nice to know that that I can be one of the top guys in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll definitely miss you next week. And we'll look forward to bringing you back in 2 weeks here as we'll get things cranking back up for you. But before we let you go, crack open that winning beer tonight. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, man. First and foremost, I'd like to thank God as my Lord and Savior. All the sponsors, JJR, Smartway, Marzo's Gears, you guys, ERN, and the League 3 Wide, man. Of course, my wife as well for letting me, as you hear screaming back there, for letting me do sim racing like she does. It takes a special somebody to sit here and put up with the amount of hours we do.
It sure does, Andrew. We live that dream every day, man. So go ahead, enjoy this win, and we'll catch you back on the track in hopefully 2 weeks, man.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, that was your race winner, Andrew Hefner, that 46 Jegs. You heard him. He's going to miss out on the Glen next week, Mike, but great run for him tonight, and that's definitely going to help him throughout the year.
Yeah, I was highly, highly impressed by, come 5 seconds back and take a 5-second lead there, in what, as you mentioned, seemed like 15 laps. The times were unbelievable, and for him to say he was actually saving tires there for the first 5 laps, he had a game plan, he executed it, and he executed it perfectly. So unfortunately, like you said, we won't see him in Watkins Glen, but I'm sure he's going to be a force to deal with later on in the season as well.
Absolutely. As we put a bow on this tonight, let's take a look at your official race results for tonight's Racer Mike 225 here from Rockingham Speedway. Coming home with the win, Andrew Hefner in the 46, Nick Rader 88. So close to getting his first win. He'll try hard next week. He comes home in second tonight. Third, Ernest King in the 24. Coming home in fourth tonight, the 9 of William George. Good run by him. The 21, Carlos Ramos, grabs the top 5 tonight in fifth. Caleb Ellswick will come home tonight in sixth, and that's 66. And first car, 1 lap down, Robert McMillan. He'll come home in seventh, in that number 8. Mike, take us the rest of the way.
The number 2 of Matthew Jagger will bring home 8th position. Points leader coming in tonight, AJ DeMarzo in the number 5 will bring home 9th. 10th is Mike Everidge in the number 82. Doug Argerbright in the number 14 will come home 11th. George Rincon in the number 28 will come home 12th. And running the field will be the number 75 of Jonathan Davis coming home 13th.
And that's your official race results for tonight's race here from Rockingham. We hope everybody enjoyed the race tonight as much as we did. Next on tap, Thursday night throwdown, doubleheader, ARCA and Truck Series. ARCA kicking off 8 o'clock Eastern, followed by the trucks at 9:30. You'll have Craig Burns and our own Michael Sheffield on the call for that one. And until next week, here with these 3 wide racing guys at the Glen, it's going to be a fun one. We can't wait to call it. For Michael Sheffield, I'm Steve Kerpel, and we will see you on the next one.